Hello everyone, welcome to The Beat, a news and talk program brought to you by the Center for Community Media at Worcester State University. I'm your host, Viktoriya Skuz. Joining us in the studio today is Dr. Russ Pottle, Dean of Humanities and Social Sciences. Hi, Dr. Pottle, thank you very much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure, thank you for having me.
So my first question to start out is, how long have you been working at Worcester State University?
I started in January, so this is the end of my 10th month. It's been a lot to learn in a short amount of time, but it's been a great pleasure.
Mm-hmm. And what path led you to this position? Did you always know that you wanted to be in this field, or?
No. I think, like so many people, I started out doing other things, and at a certain point in my academic career, I had an opportunity to enter administration as a dean, and then did that for 15 years before I began to think about where my career had been and where it was going. And it seemed to me that in the first half of my career, I had worked in a primarily liberal arts setting, and in the second half in a setting that was more devoted to institutions that had a vocational focus. And I thought if there were the opportunity for me to go back to a much more pure liberal arts setting and make a difference there, I'd look at that. And Worcester State presented such an opportunity, and it really has turned out to be a great move.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine there's a lot going on in your department. Can you tell us a little bit about your role and what exactly you do?
Certainly. The role of a dean in any kind of school or college setting is to create an environment in which faculty and students can achieve their highest potentials in teaching, scholarship, and service, which are the pillars of university endeavor. So it's my responsibility to create an environment in which all that can happen.
Mm-hmm. And what majors do you find have the highest enrollments?
In Humanities and Social Sciences, the largest major is Business Administration, followed equally by Psychology and Criminal Justice.
Mm-hmm. And do you know why that is?
To a degree, the Business Administration and the Psychology pieces are not real surprises. In most university settings of this type, they do tend to be among the larger majors, if not the largest majors. Criminal justice was a bit of a surprise, but I think that's primarily because the criminal justice program here is looking outside the traditional focus of just policing for criminal justice, and is beginning to expand its focus into other areas, and I think students are attracted by that.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell us a little bit about the centers that you oversee?
Certainly, there are a number of them. And I don't want to leave anybody out, so I'll just say generally that, of course, there's a Center for Community Media, which is what we're doing here. There are also centers for the study of human rights, for social innovation, for business entrepreneurship, for translation, and for a number of other endeavors. They really span the length of interdisciplinary learning and thought. They each have their own identity, they each pursue their own projects, but they're really valuable contributions to the School of Humanities and Social Sciences and also to the university.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And can you tell me a little bit about the research areas that you've been in, your creative endeavors?
Oh, sure. My degree is in American and Comparative Literatures, and my research areas are in the life and work of Ernest Hemingway, in travel writing studies, and also in popular culture studies. This spring, I'll be chairing a number of sessions at the Popular Culture Association around the idea of literature and madness. And this coming summer, I'll be in Paris presenting as part of the International Hemingway Conference.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. That's big stuff. So with a growing focus on vocational skills in higher education, can you explain a little bit about the importance of a humanities education in today's world?
Sure. I think the answer goes in two directions. In the first direction is the incorrect idea out there that somehow humanities majors get out of college without being able to find jobs, and that graduates in more vocational programs do. And this is economic data that's out there, so it's no secret that humanities and social sciences majors in their work lives do equally as well, if not better, than graduates from vocational or pre-professional programs. So the bottom line there is that everybody makes a living, humanities and social sciences, as well as others. And so that's something that I think maybe universities could explain a little bit better to correct that. So that's one part of the answer to the question. The other part is, even if students choose not to major in humanities, the humanities and the social sciences are vitally important for their developments as human persons. Humanities and social sciences allow you to understand individuals and communities, and that's what life is made up of. I mean, it's very difficult to understand, the cause and effect of history that's brought us to this point without studying in that field. It's difficult to understand the culture we're in without the knowledge of sociology. It's very difficult to think about how to treat other people or how human relations work without knowing something about philosophy. And we could continue, to go on. How does the law construct us as a human person within society? Well, criminal justice and sociology have some things to say about that. When we think about human individuals and how they relate, how do humans think? How do we come to know? Those kinds of things also, you can look at through psychology. How are we constructed by the economic forces in society? Again, there's business and economics. What do the creative insights of language and literature and theater and music and art bring to us? Those are all important parts of life. They can form themselves into careers, as they do for graduates from humanities and social sciences programs, but they also can help form the lives of graduates even who haven't been in those majors. They're just vital. They're just vital to being human persons, vital to being individuals and members of communities.
And it's interesting that you say that, because when I first enrolled in college, I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I was a little bit hesitant to go into communication. What would you say to a student that's maybe undecided and doesn't have an idea but is looking into the humanities and social sciences? What advice would you give to someone?
I think I would give them the same advice that I gave to my own kids, and that I've taken myself by coming to Worcester State University. When you decide to do something, when you have found your passion, just go all in on it. In terms of majoring in a humanities field, that means going all in your major. Explore all kinds of courses, develop relationships with faculty, take advantage of the programs that, or the parts of your program that offer, say, internships or undergraduate research experiences or study abroad. Life, particularly for humanities and social sciences majors, is something that you create. And the university gives you all the tools to do that, provided that you don't sit in your dorm room or in your apartment and not extend yourself. It's the relationships and the web of knowledge that you create that will help expand your life once you leave. And so again, do it. Don't be afraid of it. The data says you'll be fine. Just go all in with it.
And with the world changing so much today, it seems that all the time there's something new coming out. And how do you see the humanities department and the social sciences department changing along with the times?
I think as we go through time in higher education, there's more of an emphasis on interdisciplinary curricula, and I think that humanities and social sciences participate in that. I think also, though, there's there are specific disciplinary fields of knowledge that it's important for everybody to know. Different parts of intellectual history that help bring us to where we are today and that are important to understand. So I think probably there's a move toward more interdisciplinary learning, toward more experiential learning, which I think is really helpful. At the same time, I think that humanities and social sciences fields are finding new ways of explaining their history, their fundamental ideas, how we got here. On the one hand, it seems to be moving to a place where everybody participates in building knowledge, and at the same time, really trying to understand what each field is bringing to that.
Interesting. And finally, I want to know, where do you see the department going in the future? And are there any new programs that have just been added? Are there any additions that are coming in the future?
Oh, there are always ideas. And we actually do have some new programs, either sort of as ideas or actually in the proposal stage. But you're not supposed to talk about them until they're actually approved. So I won't go ahead and name them. But again, what I'm seeing is still that push toward interdisciplinary learning. And the idea of making connections among disciplines and making sure that students have the opportunity to think broadly about things and to think among disciplines. At the same time, I think that here at the university we're finding some real fundamental strengths in fundamental programs and trying to push those forward. So I would say stay tuned. And keep an eye on what's happening in humanities and social sciences. I think that we have a real future in expanding beyond where we are, while really creating an identity that helps people understand who they are as an individual and who they are as members of communities.
Well, we're excited to see where that's going to go in the future. So thank you very much for joining us today. We really appreciate your time.
It's my pleasure entirely.
Lots of really wonderful information for students who maybe had no idea about it. So thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you for watching this segment of The Beat. Please remember to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. We'll see you next time.